Most people assume that if someone has no close friends, something must be wrong with them, that they're awkward, emotionally closed off, or secretly miserable. And once that assumption settles in, it doesn't stay outside. It moves inward. People start questioning themselves. Am I broken? Am I missing some essential ability that everyone else seems to have? That inward turning is where the real risk begins, not in being alone, but in believing that solitude equals failure. Because once you internalize that belief, you start trying to fix yourself in ways that backfire. You say yes to every social invitation, attend gatherings you dread, smile and nod in conversations that feel hollow. Most of the time, it backfires. You end up exhausted, resentful, and hollow, even when surrounded by people. Social interactions become a performance. Energy is spent maintaining appearances instead of nurturing genuine connection. And yet, most people push themselves into these situations for years, sometimes decades, without ever noticing the quiet toll. Ignore it, and subtle emotional exhaustion quietly accumulates, sometimes for decades. Here's a distinction almost nobody teaches. Being alone is not the same as being lonely. Loneliness is painful. It signals that your emotional needs aren't being met, that you feel unseen, unsupported, or disconnected. Solitude, on the other hand, can be chosen, and when it is, it restores, stabilizes, and clarifies. You can spend every weekend surrounded by others and still feel empty, or spend weeks alone and feel grounded, calm, and emotionally whole. The difference isn't social success, it's alignment. And misunderstanding that alignment is where subtle, long-term harm occurs. Ignore it, and you might convince yourself you need to fit in at all costs, a trap many never notice until years later. Psychologists studying social behavior have repeatedly found something surprising. People who are comfortable with few or no close friends often demonstrate stronger emotional self-regulation than those who are constantly social. They don't outsource their emotional stability. They can sit with their own thoughts without panic, without distraction, without scrambling for someone else to fill the silence. Here's where the stakes become tangible. People who ignore this signal often force connections to meet cultural expectations. They accumulate acquaintances instead of meaningful relationships. They attend gatherings they don't enjoy. And over time, this creates subtle emotional costs, exhaustion, anxiety, and a hollow sense of self. Meanwhile, those who embrace chosen solitude filter connection. They seek resonance, not numbers. They don't chase approval. They ask, does this matter to me? Choosing not to go to a party you dread isn't avoidance. It's protecting your energy and maintaining emotional clarity. That simple question alone shields them from shallow, draining interactions and often protects them from long-term emotional harm. Long-term studies tracking adults over decades reveal a striking pattern. People with very small social circles who report low loneliness often function better psychologically than those with large networks who feel disconnected. Not superficially happier, genuinely more stable, more capable of handling their own thoughts, more resilient emotionally. And this stability fuels creativity. When your brain isn't constantly managing social dynamics, expectations, and group performance, it has space to think freely. It can generate ideas, make unusual connections, and develop originality without pressure. Solitude isn't empty, it's unoccupied cognitive space, fertile ground for thought, emotion, and self-understanding. But even here, subtle danger remains. Preferring few friends doesn't automatically protect against loneliness. Chosen solitude can become harmful if misunderstood or if warning signs are ignored. And that danger creeps in quietly, easy to dismiss, until you realize years have passed without real alignment. So the real question isn't how many friends do you have? It's, are your relationships, however few, aligned with your actual needs? Do they support who you are or the version of yourself you think you should be? People who thrive with few or no close friends often share these traits: strong internal identity, clear boundaries, comfort with introspection, emotional independence. They aren't detached from humanity, they're anchored in themselves. They've learned that solitude isn't abandonment, it's recalibration. Society constantly signals the opposite. More friends, more activity, more visibility equals success. But forcing yourself into that mold produces subtle, long-term harm. Drained energy, resentment, hollow interactions, disconnection. And the quiet ones watch, feeling guilty for wanting less. That guilt isn't weakness, it's misplaced social pressure. Here's the final, uncomfortable truth. The person with no close friends isn't automatically lonely. The person with 50 acquaintances might be profoundly disconnected. The hidden cost most people never confront is ignoring your own alignment. Sometimes the most psychologically healthy choice isn't adding more people. It's standing quietly, observing, and realizing. You may not need what everyone else says you should need, and admitting that may feel terrifying. Because once you accept it, you can't pretend anymore. You have to confront your own alignment, fully, honestly, and sometimes uncomfortably. That confrontation, quiet, internal, and unavoidable, is where real clarity begins. If this resonated with you, consider subscribing for more psychology-based deep dives. And if you want to support the channel, becoming a member helps keep these honest conversations alive.